This music production coach got his very first high ticket client in just 3 days. In this video, the value that you are going to get if you are a music coach or a music production coach, how do you structure your offer? This is something that if you've read Alex Hormozy's book, you'll know that the offer is literally the king of your entire business. But a lot of people, you included, might not know that, right? A lot of people that I work with in my music money mastery program, that's where I help music coaches and music production coaches start and scale their businesses, is a lot of people don't have their offer structured in a way that actually helps them grow their business. What I mean by that is you should be able to explain your offer to an ideal client and they should be like, I want in. And the problem is a lot of people can't do that. You might not be able to do that. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what we did with my client and how you can literally take exactly what we did and apply it to your business. If you don't know me, I talk about my story a lot on my YouTube channel, and I don't want to bore you with those details right now. But super quickly, my name's Lee, Leezy the Gifted, and what I did was I started a music production coaching program. I taught recording artists how to produce their own music, so produce, mix, master, and I scaled that from $25,000 in credit card debt to $20,000 a month in the span of less than a year. I then doubled my business the next year, and I was charging artists $3,000 in my first year. I then raised my price to $5,000 and made six figures in about 6 months in 2024, which is crazy because a lot of people think artists are broke and nobody wants to spend money to learn music. I proved that wrong. Now what I do is I help other expert musicians, music coaches, and music production coaches start and scale their businesses. So if you want more proof on what I do and all that stuff, go Instagram, go YouTube. Let's not waste time here on this video. Let's just get right into the meat and potatoes and get after it. So I did block out my client's name just out of respect for him and privacy, but I did want to show you a couple of things. So he literally started, like, we started working together in my music money mastery program, like on a Tuesday, I believe it was. I think it was a Tuesday. And yeah, he signed up on Tuesday. We took a one-on-one call on Thursday. And then on Friday, he took a sales call and closed his first client off literally what we did in the one-on-one call. I'm not going to read this whole thing out to you, but this is surreal coming into this. I'd already been trying a bit of marketing myself. Got on a call today, closed my first client, brand new coaching offer. Leah just built on our first call yesterday. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. The second thing is he actually just posted this here. Also just checked, and my current cost per call taken is $72. So now what we've done is we've started running ads. I have other videos on my channel explaining the entire marketing strategy and how that works. Today I just want to focus on the offer stuff. But we're running ads right now, and his cost per call taken is $72. So I just want to rip through and run some quick marketing math here for you just to show you how freaking dope this is. So let's do the math here, right? So $72 cost per call taken. Ooh, that's a fat one. Hold up. Right? $72. So let's just say it takes him, let's just say 10 calls taken times 10, right? That's $720. Can I move my head? I can make it smaller. There we go. So let's say he spends $722 to take 10 calls, right? Let's say he's not that good at closing. Like, let's just say, and he only closes 2 of them. So let's say he gets 2 new clients, and let's literally just use his price right here. $1,500, which, by the way, we've raised the price since then. But let's just say he only gets 2 people at $1,500. So 2 clients, right, at $1,500. And that would equal $3K in cash collected, right? This man would have spent, he's on pace to do this, by the way, $720 to make $3K. I'm getting good with the Canva whiteboard here. Let's do the math on that. I'll even write it out here for you. So doing the math on that, that means this man would have spent, it would be 3K divided by 720, and that would equal a 4.16x return on ad spend. AKA, we got marketing dialed in. So this is the power of what can happen when you have your offer dialed in and when you can charge a high price. By the way, This is if he's only charging 1.5K. But if he just decides, hey, I want to say a different number, right? If he's just like, you know what, instead of saying 1.5K, I'm just going to say 2K, not 12K. Although we'll get there. Let's just do that, right? Just that alone. Just that alone. Oh my gosh. Here we go. Come on. Come on. You got it. You got it. Here we go. Right? Would then turn this into 4K. Right? 4 divided by 720 will be a 5.5x return. That's if he just raises his price by $500. Just says a different number. And you don't have to get that much better at closing. You don't have to like become great at closing. Like to do that. You just say a different number. The other thing is, what if he actually gets better at sales and instead of 2 clients, he gets 3? Let's put it right here. 3 clients at 2K, which equals 6K. 6K divided by 720. Ooh, 8.3x. Ooh, I like that. So it's just so interesting how when you can get into like a marketing strategy that actually works, like the one we build for our clients in Music Money Mastery, where you're getting cost per call taken of $72 and you can close, if you charge the right price, 2K. By the way, I was charging 3 and then $5,000. So Brad could literally be charging 5K if he wanted to. But let's call it 2K. 2K, 3 out of 10. You're making a solid, not just a solid income, dude. You're freaking rich. So it's like, that's the power of having a strong offer. And so that's what we're going to go through right now. So I'm going to go through each one of these things here and explain to you what you might be missing, right? You might be missing this in your music business. So let's get into it. So here, there's a few things that we build out in Music Money Mastery for our clients, which is the offer. It's the very first thing we do. In fact, if we take a quick look here into the course that I have for my clients, we do have video modules, of course, right? One of the things we do is elite offer creation. It's the very, very first thing that we cover with our clients, right? And we build everything together. Like I literally help build it out with you. So the first thing is the who. And what you can think of this as with the who, I'm going to use black for this, is basically you kind of want to think about their point A. You want to think about their specific point A, like something tangible. Because a lot of people, a lot of music coaches don't think about this. They're just like, yeah, I can help this person or that. I can help DJs. I can help producers. I can help singers. It's like, you kind of need to narrow in on one niche. Because then when you talk about stuff in your marketing material, it's going to hit that much harder. So you have to get really specific on the who. And one of the things is I actually tell my clients, like a lot of them think about demographics. And that's actually not the way to think about it. What you actually want to think about is something we call, and I learned this from a guy named Jeremy Haynes, something more that's called CPO, which stands for circumstances, problems, and outcomes. That is what we really, really, really want to be looking at is circumstances, problems, and outcomes. So there's a lot of other different things that we do along the way. It's not just these things. There's a ton of different things we go through, but that's the first thing is thinking about who specifically you're going after and thinking about it in that regard. The other thing that you want to think about, and this is going to be super major, I guarantee you haven't thought about, is the difference between broke-minded people. Oops, I forgot the letter E. I'm so not broke, I don't even know how to spell broke. Broke-minded people versus rich-minded people. Because broke-minded people, dude, they think about things differently than rich-minded people do, right? So you need to know that there are triggers that if you say these things in your marketing materials, in your ads, in your YouTubes, whatever it is, you might be attracting broke people and repelling rich people. Again, these are things I work on with my clients, and it's what I did with Brad. So that's all the first stuff is the who. The next is what? The specific tangible result, which we can think of, let's call that point B. Now, again, I've talked about this in a couple other videos, But I want to reiterate it here. You got to have a specific point B, a specific tangible result within a time frame. So what I mean by that is you don't want to just say things like more confident in your mixing, right? You don't want to just say, oh, yeah, you're going to feel more confident. You're going to feel more confident in your mixing. You're going to feel more confident in your voice. You're going to find your unique sound. You have to have a specific tangible end result. You're going to get this many songs done. You're going to get these exact, like you're going to get this exact outcome. Like for me, when I was helping recording artists learn how to produce their own music, mine was you have at least one song fully produced by you that you're excited to release and all the tools, skills, and resources to never need a producer for the rest of your career. Extremely tangible. Extremely tangible, right? So you have to have that. And by the way, my program at that time was 12 weeks. Now, my program in Music Money Mastery is not just you're going to start and scale your music business. No, it's not. You're just going to get a client. No, it's not. In 6 months, you're full-time with your music business, with your music coaching business. In 6 months. That's a tangible outcome. Now, full-time means something different for everybody. Some people just need 5K a month to go full-time, some 6, some 8, some 12, right? Some people need different things to go full-time with their music business. So that's the specific tangible end result. All right. Next is pillars. So your pillars, and we can type into this, pillars is basically your process. So now that we've got the who, we've got the point B, now it's like, well, what is the actual process that we take people through? And the way I like to do pillars is kind of like this. I'll draw it down here for you. I'll use black for this. Is I like to do pillars. Like I'll do pillar 1. And then under that, I'll do 3 steps of each of those pillars. Then I'll do pillar 2. And then 3 steps. And then pillar 3, usually I only go up to 3 pillars. And then 3 steps, right? So that's kind of how I structure pillars, really simple. And that's going to be the step-by-step process that you're going to take your clients through, right? So that's pillars. Timeline, obviously, like that's going to be something along the lines of, I usually recommend 12 to 16 weeks, which is basically 3 to 6 months. I have a couple clients who are doing like an 8-week program for their clients. And I'm like, you probably want to go 12 because 8 weeks is pretty quick, but I recommend usually 12 to 16 weeks. Now deliverables. So when we talk deliverables, generally speaking, I actually like to build this in phases. So the first thing that I have my clients do, and what I'd recommend you do, is like a beta program where you literally only do one-on-one calls weekly or bi-weekly and texting support. That's literally all I would have them do. And you're going to walk them through the entire process. You're going to record every single call and then use those recordings for the next batch of clients as your video course. Record each call, and that's basically 1.0 version of your course. Right? Record calls. Make sense? So that's what I would do for the beta program. For that, dude, I would start. Usually people start at 1.5K or 2K for that. But then like immediately after you do that, you then move on and you'll have like your next 5. Oops. Let's call it next 5. Then I would still do one-on-one calls. I would still do text, one-on-one calls, text, but now you've got a course. And then maybe you've got a community. And I would raise the price at that point to 3K. So what's great, if you look at this, is you've now raised your price and you've leveraged yourself because you're going to have less one-on-one calls. Isn't that cool? So that's how I would structure like deliverables really simply. You can even have, if you're doing like a production thing, honestly, you don't even have to do this just for production, but you could have templates, stuff like that, right? Really simple. Now we just talked about price. Like I would kind of start the price at 1.5 or 2K, then 3K. And then dude, you can keep raising this up if you want to. If you're next 5 to 10. You can kind of keep incrementally raising the price by like $500 if you want. 3.5K, maybe 4K, then 4.5, then 5. I didn't do that. I went from 3 to 3.5 and then I skipped these and I went from 3.5K to 5K and I 2x'd my close percentage. But you can do it kind of however you want. Like at that point, like your next 5 to 10 clients, now you're going to have even less one-on-one calls. If any. One-on-one calls, even less. Even less. Still, I would do the texting support. Maybe you've got 2.0 course, meaning you've kind of revised your course at this point. Now your community at this point, dude, your community's probably banging and you've got group calls, right? And you've got group calls. Now you're like, dude, now you're highly leveraged because you probably at this point only have like, bro, if anything, like maybe like 3 one-on-one calls. Texting, you got a better course, you have a community which is supporting your clients, you've got group calls, and now your price is starting to go up, up, up. You could still stay at that 3K price range if you want, but now you're charging somewhere from 3 to 5K. You're literally making more money and working less, and your clients are getting better results. So that is literally how I would go about structuring your offer, and that's how I would go about scaling it up. It's what we're doing with Brad. It's what I'm doing with other clients like my client Allie, who just hit her first 10K month the first month we worked together. I've got a lot of other client results I could refer to too that I refer to in other marketing materials. So listen, if you got value out of this video, awesome. You know, like, share, whatever you want to do there. If you're like, hey, look, I literally just want help building my music business, I don't want to figure all this out on your own, great. You could send me a DM or go ahead and book a call in with me and apply to work with me. I'd love to see if I could have the opportunity to serve and support you there. All right. Thanks a lot for watching the video. See you on the next one. Peace.